Hello, and welcome to episode 235 of the Arena Regulars podcast. I'm Zach,
And I'm Jeff.
and we're your source for drunken Magic the Gathering arena content.
That's right, just a couple of regular guys drinking some irregular beers, talking about Magic the Gathering, in particular, the online client, MTG Arena.
That's right, and Jeff, oh buddy, this is one of my favorite episodes. We got so much new stuff to talk about. There was a tournament this last weekend. We get to go all about it, plus a ton of previews for things over the rest of the year, a bunch of brand new stuff, and things we finally know about a set we've been waiting to hear about. So I'm really excited to get into it and hear your thoughts about what's going on, because we haven't discussed any of this yet. So This is gonna be great. All right, but first. Each week we bring a beer. We drink it, we rate it on a scale from bronze to mythic, just like the tiers in Arena. So with that, Jeff, what is on tap this week?
All right, we are returning to the brewery that is called Bandit. And I always mix it up with a different brewery, and I was going to say Bandit this time, and I was like, no, that's the one you always think it is. So that was the double fake out. We had them for the first time on the show, like a few weeks ago or a few episodes ago.
Yeah.
And we have a couple of more. Since they're small cans, we do two. We don't we'll just do one small can.
That's ridiculous. I can't do one small can.
That would be a very normal thing to do. And so we're starting with By the Pool, which is a dry hopped wit. Interesting. And we're going to follow it up with Isabella, which is an IPA with Nelson Sauvin and Citra, both of which are hops that I quite like. So let's see. These are cool cans. I like the sort of minimalist aesthetic. I think we commented on it last time, and let's hope that the beer can live up.
Yeah, Jeff, just so you know, I specifically picked this IPA because I thought you would like it. I thought it would be nice after all the other Bandit ones that I had picked that were kind of off the wall and wild, right? We had a weird one a couple weeks ago. So I thought, hey, maybe we should have a nice, just classic, delicious something. So I hope that Isabella is exactly what we're looking for, and just a nice, delicious IPA.
I just picture you like cramming all of these super weird beers into your basket, and then you're like going to get some sort of chocolate sour, and you're like, you see this IPA with hops that I like, and you're like, all right,
we'll get a boring one for Jeff. No, it's going to be very exciting. It's one of their best sellers, I've heard, so excited to test it out. But would assume that it's going to be quite delicious. Though we are going to start with By the Pool first. So anyway, Jeff, do you want to crack these open and get into the episode?
I think over the time that we've done this, we've learned to do the softer beer first. Like I think one time we had like a massive stout and then a pale ale right after it. It's like I can't even taste this.
I don't even know what's going on. It was also like back in the day we used to have two beers each, but we would flip-flop them. So you would drink one first and I would drink the other one first, and then we'd trade.
Exactly.
And we've done away with that.
Yeah, we've simplified a little bit.
All right, we have some Magic news. Pro Tour Secrets of Strixhaven was this last weekend, and there is no spoiler in sports, as we always say. So congratulations, Nathan Stoyer, taking it down. Wow, what an event! What a finals! That was not what I thought was going to happen coming into the tournament. Nathan Stoyer won with Celestia Landfall, playing against his teammate, Christopher Larson, also playing Celestia Landfall. Which, going into the tournament, I knew that, Mono Green Landfall was a deck. We've seen that deck for a long time. But having Celestia add a little extra spice to the list, specifically cards that I said were worth a slot in your standard deck were in the finals. A Road was a huge piece to that deck. Not only because, obviously, getting rid of your opponent's creatures for 1 mana is strong, but getting an extra landfall trigger by eroding your own earthbended lands to then ramp you to get 2 landfall triggers for 1 mana because obviously the Earthbended one comes back as well as the new land. That's pretty. That's pretty sick. I like that a lot. Wasn't a reason I told you to put it in your deck, but the fact that I chose the card. That
I remember
was...
you saying all of that.
Okay, well, yes. Thank you. But anyway, really sweet finals for the mirror match. I will say, Jeff, I was pulling for Christopher Larson. I wanted him to win. Not like I picked any of them in my fantasy teams, but
Same. I got devastated in that. But I also wanted him to win just because it's pretty unusual these days to have someone back to back these things.
Mm-hmm.
So just would have been cool.
Well, that was the main thing. Like going into it. Well, actually, we should probably say this first. I also want to say a huge congratulations to Hello There over on our Discord and our listener out there for winning the Secrets of Strixhaven Pro Tour Fantasy Challenge that we have every time we do our fantasy stuff. Yeah, Hello There's team blew a lot of us out of the water, had picked Christopher Larson, got to go the distance because of it, and rack up a bunch of points, as well as just like a bunch of players that were just like vying for the top 8. Like, I think 4 different players had 11 points or like 11 match wins on Hello There's team. So that's huge. And then Christopher Larson was like 16 or something. So wild, absolutely wild. I would like to also mention that I did beat Jeff. My team was better than his. Yeah, let's go. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
I had to let you win one, you know.
well, I feel pretty good.
The funny thing is, I was like loosely considering taking Christopher Larson, and then I was like, they never run it back, you know.
That's what I was saying. They never run it back. There is in Pro Tour or Pro Tour Magic, there tends to be this thing where like whoever won the last Pro Tour, we watch them draft in the next thing. They're like the featured drafter, and there's a curse for the featured drafter. It's kind of like the Madden
always
cover.
a train wreck.
It's always a train wreck. It's a horrible, horrible deck. Not this time. Christopher Larson did quite well in that draft, as well as like, obviously performed well enough. He didn't go undefeated in the first day. Nathan Stoyer went undefeated the first day. But they were both in the same draft pod on day 2. And so he wasn't featured, but Nathan Stoyer was featured because Nathan was the hot. He had the hot hands, I guess, and then kept going, and then got to the top 8, and then won the whole thing. Which, like, rarely does that happen, where it's like, oh, the person that was undefeated continues to just win the whole tournament. Like, it's usually like, that person like might top 8, but they tend to peter out day 2. Like, it just happens so often.
There's usually like a winner who goes undefeated through almost the whole event, and then just gets annihilated in the first round of the top 8.
In the first round of it, yeah, exactly.
This is when you chose to lose.
And so that's why I was not expecting to see this in the finals, and especially just this version of the deck. I don't know. It just didn't seem like that. It felt like adding another color to this like very aggressive combo-y deck was not. I was like, I just didn't really get it.
I think the tech I was missing was the like erode your own thing tech, because that really is erode is the reason to play white. So when I saw the deck list, I was like, okay, like you get more interaction into your landfall deck, I guess, and you get a better sideboard. That's the other reason to play white. You get a much better sideboard.
That's true. Yeah.
I think you could probably like take or leave the Diet Drying or whatever the other card they play is. But
yeah.
But yeah, when I like read about the interaction of like targeting your own land, it's like
yeah,
yeah, they figured something out there, didn't they?
Yeah, so much so that erode is it like was one of the main cards in the finals, because there were some interesting interactions that had happened. The finals went to 5 games, 2 teammates playing against each other, a lot of joking back and forth. Great final match. I would highly recommend it. Christopher Larson not only asked for someone to go fetch him a Coke at one point. He's like, I need a refreshment before the next game. No, he was really saying that he felt like his blood sugar was low, so he's like, can I just have something real quick? But he also just like said, all right, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and so then he just like
And he went
was
to the
like,
bathroom, yeah.
he's like, I'm gonna do everything I need, and it was not like really a question. He was like, I just need these things to perform the best I can, and I thought that was really, strong of him. It's the kind of thing that I wouldn't do myself. I'm not a professional player, but I would feel very uncomfortable to ask for such things.
Yeah,
And
I would just pee my pants.
Yeah. That's what you're expected to do. Most
Right?
professional
Like,
players pee
would
their
you
pants.
forget your catheter at home, dude?
God, come on. So I was happy to see him do that, but the reason he was doing those things, I wasn't as happy about. So there was another weird little thing. It's not huge, but in game 1 of the finals, there was one interaction where basically the board state was pretty complicated. Christopher Larson was getting ready to go attack for lethal, but there were a couple different triggers on the stack, and basically one of the things was Nathan Storer had a Keen-Eyed Curator, the raccoon thing that can exile stuff from your opponent's graveyard or graveyards.
Oh, I know it well.
And so what he was wanting to do is respond to the Earthbend trigger to return the land from the graveyard to the battlefield, to then exile that land, so it didn't come back and there wasn't another landfall trigger. But I think what was happening is that Christopher Larson knows there's lots of triggers in the deck, and they've both played so many times with each other that he's kind of just like, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this, and it's like, I don't know if it's necessarily a thing that like he does with everyone he plays with, but I'm sure that he would just assume. Like the entire finals was kind of riddled with, I'm going to make this action, I'm going to do these things. So they kind of do things that it almost feels like they're out of order, but it's like,
Sure.
what I'm doing, what I'm doing. And when Nathan Story was trying to exile the land and kind of slow everything down, he tapped a white-green source to do it, instead of his earth-bended creature that had 3 counters on it, which was a green source. Most notably, tapping down his only white source that he had with the erode in his hand. While they're trying to figure out all this stuff, he then kind of stops and says, wait, I think I want to call a judge. I tapped my mana wrong. I want to tap it a different way. And Christopher Larson says, no, don't worry about it. Let's not call a judge. Like, what do you want to do? And Nathan's like, I just wanted to, I want to untap this one. I want this one to be tapped.
There should be a judge watching, though, right?
There was a judge, but he was like, Christopher Larson was like, let's not get a judge. Like, don't, we can settle this kind of, which was a strange thing, personally. I thought that was like, I don't know exactly why he decided to say that. I don't know if Christopher Larson was, I don't know if Chris was thinking that like the judge was about how he was dealing with his triggers or something. Not exactly.
Or maybe
sure.
he just thought like, we don't need I'll just let you do what you want. Kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so Nathan was looking at him. He's like, I just want to untap this one. And then he tapped his creature that had 3 counters, presumably one of his blockers. And so then Chris saw that, and it was such a huge moment of like, I'm untapping my white source. Like, it seemed very obvious, obviously from coverage because what is in his hand. But it also seemed like Chris was like,
why would you
want
to tap your blocker instead of that? Unless, of course, you have a white source.
Yes.
Or it could be a next level play from Nathan being like, I'll make you think I have it, but I don't.
And so I think that is kind of what Chris was thinking, that he had seen him do that and was like, is he
because why would Nathan have ever tapped that only white source in the first place?
So he's like, oh, are you trying to now go back and bluff that you have a road? Because obviously you wouldn't have tapped it in the first place if you were planning on playing a road. So like, he was like, okay. And so then he kind of continues with the attack, and I don't remember if he had already kind of declared attacks. It was like, this happens, attack.
It sounds like it's
and then it was like, slow down.
The order of everything happened in.
Anyway, his creature does get eroded, and he loses the game because of this untap the land thing. Which then eventually leads to, him losing the last final game because of, also some math stuff. There's a lot of math. Turns out, in Landfall, there's tons of math. There's a lot of doubling. It's wild. But I think that after that had happened, he was able to pull himself back together. He won the next game through not going for it with his creature. I guess it was the kind of thing where it's like they both had Erode in their hand, and it's like if he plays his Erode to get the extra triggers, then he gets eroded and he loses. But if he doesn't play the Erode, then he can continue the game. Anyway,
it's all about Erode.
All about Erode. It was huge thing. Anyway, that was a teeny little blemish on the finals, but that led to him being like, okay, I'm going to play my best, and that's why I need these other things, like the Coke and the he I think the words he said was like he's bursting, so he had to go to the bathroom. He's like, I'm bursting.
Yeah.
But it was all great. Everything was fine with them, and in the end, when Nathan does win, Christopher was able to like do his normal. He picked him up and he cheered him on and lifted him into the air like he does all of his teammates when they win. So
I mean, hey, second place in a Pro Tour is not
after you won the last one, like
guess you could
so
share.
There was definitely no bad blood between them, at least on stage. There was one point where I think Christopher was like joking about trying to untap one of his lands. And he's like, "Oh no,
Actually,
go. Actually, could I?" And then just like I said,
could I go back to the thing I did 4
turns ago? Could I do that? But it was really cool just to watch them play, because a lot of it was just like they're doing things. He's like, "Do you have the veil? Like snakeskin veil?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay, the game's over." He's like, "All right, next one." And they go into
doesn't even make him show it, just concedes.
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
And like in the very final
that's how you would do it in testing, right? Like,
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. In the very final moments, like Christopher's holding the forest he drew off the top of the deck that's not going to help him win the game, and he like has it on the table like trying to do his math, and Nathan just puts down his harmonizer that's in his hand, being like, "I have lethal, like you're dead." And he's like, wait, I'm still doing my attack stuff. He's like, no, you're dead. Like if you have a force in your hand, there's no way you can win. I'm gonna win.
Yeah.
And he's like, we could play it out, but that's what's going to happen. And so they did play it out for a little bit, and then eventually he explained like why he would win, and then they're like, okay, yeah, you win. So it was, it just felt like such a team thing. I don't know. It was, I don't know. It was fun.
That kind of stuff is cool. You have to hit a blend, right? I think sometimes the judges have to step in and be like, you have to show what would happen or play it out, or at least explain it.
I think he did. For the viewers.
But and the whole like changing how you tapped thing. This feels like almost the opposite of the last time, where last time the complaint was that Seth may have gotten additional information and then changed how he wanted to tap. Whereas this time it was like, it was just a brain fart, basically. And he actually, it cost him information to sort of do this. But I could still see, like, there would be diehards who say he shouldn't have been able to undo that mistake.
Yeah, it was like a combination of trying to be like, I want you to stop what you're doing because I'm trying to interact with what's happening since you're talking so quickly.
Right.
And then just like tapping a thing and it seemed like in the moment he was trying to explain that he was like to Chris, but also like the viewers, I can respond to the trigger. I want to respond to that trigger on the stack of the land coming back. Anyway, it's interesting. It's interesting to see these types of things because, like, once again, if you're on Arena, well, actually, no, that's not 100% true. If you're on Arena, you can't take things back. But if he clicked through all the stuff, it would have happened. But because he asked to untap the land in the time that they were talking about all the stack stuff happening, it didn't feel like it was like a takesy-backsy. It was like they're trying to slow the stack down, talk about it. He tapped the land to say, I want to exile the thing. And then as they're discussing what's going on with the stack and how things are triggering, he's like, wait, I want to redo this. So it was almost immediately afterwards. But
Yeah, and the rule as
Anyway.
written is like if he hasn't gained additional information, which in this case is just like, come on, he knows he should not have tapped
Yes.
land. It's not because some info came up that he's like, oh, maybe I do
he's
want
like,
this
"Oh,
white
I
source.
should have done
you know?
this."
He should
Yeah.
always leave the white source.
Yeah. So anyway, it was very very eventful. Very eventful.
Yeah,
Pro Tour, and
I watched
specifically
the
the
draft
finish.
with that part of that's what I was going to say. Like I was considering taking him, and I was like, nah, the drafter's curse. Like, and then I saw his draft, I was like, fuck, that's not the drafter's curse. What is this? This is an awesome deck. And then during his rounds in that, that draft, the first one, he was very chill and just like laughing with his opponent and joking the whole time. I was like, this dude's locked in, man.
Yeah.
And it was just very cool to see, the previous Pro Tour champion just coming in, and it really is just like having fun for him. It wasn't like he was taking it super seriously, and so to hear that continued all the way through the whole tournament, I guess for him is
cool. He was just absolutely crushing their whole team, the heavy play team.
Sounds like they figured it out, right? Like they
really
figured out
have
the draft format, and they built.
Yeah,
because
because in the second draft, we're watching Nathan Stoyer. His first pack is between like mono red card, a Prismari card, and then he ends up picking Witherbloom uncommon. That's the 3-mana 3/1 that makes a pest, and then whenever a creature dies every turn, you draw a card.
Yeah.
And he pulls it to the front, and I was thinking, like, is he just going to just say, you know what, I'm going Witherbloom? And that's exactly what he did. And he was just, like, forcing Witherbloom through the whole draft, and I love to see that, where it's like, I know people are going to pass me cards. They're not going to be excited about this.
Well, I noticed that in
just
Christopher's
play
draft,
this.
too, that he was not... Like, he was kind of gunning for the multicolor deck the whole time because of his first pick.
Yeah.
And his stated preference for that archetype. But he was not afraid to take Witherbloom cards either. It kind of felt like he was ready to backdoor into Witherbloom, and that was like his game plan. If I don't get there on the Converge deck, I'll have Witherbloom as a safety net because people are going to let that
Give it to me.
fly.
Yeah.
So it seems like
That was
from
like a
those
team.
two drafts that their team kind of identified that Witherbloom is not as weak as other people think it is, and that sort of take advantage of force that self-correcting nature of draft a little bit, where you're like, if you're going to give me good Witherbloom cards, like, I know how to play Witherbloom. I think you guys just don't know how to play it, and you're maybe indexing too much to the stats and not enough like playtesting and actually trying to build good Witherbloom decks.
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's totally true. And not that they're the only people that knew. I mean, Nathan Stoyer's draft, his second one, he plays against like a Witherbloom player immediately, who is the person across, or maybe not across the table because they do different pairings, but the other player that he was paired against was keyed in on the same thing. But yeah, anyway, really, really cool to see, especially coming into the weekend. Like the top 8 only had 2 Izzet decks, and almost 50% of the field was playing blue-red. Like not all the same strategy, but all of the blue-red strategies feel very samey. They're very.
I was going to say it's almost the same strategy, just like different theme.
Basically, so it's like, do you want to play
around lessons, and the other one's not.
Do you want to do lessons, or do you want to do the spell elementals, or do you want to do prowess? Prowess was a really big one and was definitely targeted. Did not make it to the top 8, but the several landfall decks made it to the top 8, as well as Celestia Landfall, obviously in the finals, but then Celestia Ouroboros, which is like the toolboxy Rhythm of the Wild kind of deck.
That is such, by the way, no surprise at all when I saw that that's what Matt Nass was piloting. I was like, of course he's picked that. That's like the most Matt Nass deck ever.
Like such a toolboxy...
toolboxy, like, and it's all about counting and counters, and like it's exactly like those decks he used to play, where there was that one mana enchantment that like doubles the counters you get, and it was all very
Hardened Scales.
Hardened Scale. Yeah, those it's exactly like those Hardened Scales artifact decks you used to play that were like crazy. Very, it's very like there's a puzzle that I have to figure out, and if I can figure it out, then I'm gonna do 4,800 damage. That's a very Matt Nass like deck to play.
Yeah. Definitely the deck I would, of all the decks in the top 8, the one I don't want to play.
Right. Yeah. Every turn you have like 38 lines available to you, and you have to pick the right one every time. But if you do, you win.
Yeah. Not interested in that. Not interested in knowing every single card that's in my deck at all times, and if I should go get it or not. That sounds like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's about like protecting the victory. Like you have a very fragile victory that's like double this and double it again and double it again and then attack. Now, how do you go get the right things to protect that and make sure you win?
And all, yeah. So definitely not my cup of tea.
Definitely Matt's cup of tea though. And so when I saw he was in the top 8, first of all, I was like, of course he is. He's been just doing so well. Matt Nass and like Sam Pardee have just been crushing it recently.
Yeah.
And I pair them up just because I think they're like really close friends.
They are. With LSV, they're all really good.
They often play the same decks and stuff. And so when I saw this is what he was on, I was like, that tracks. Yeah.
Yep.
I wonder if the rest of his team played Izzet, and he was like, I'm just going to play this.
Probably. I could see that for sure.
Like,
sounds
LSV must have played Izzet, right? Or I think LSV he was in the event. But
no, he wasn't in the event. He's busy with the children.
Come on. They were born so long ago.
Twins is different, I think. Twins is a little different. But anyway, awesome Pro Tour. Love to play it. Love to play Fantasy. Love to beat Jeff. It's great. All good. All great stuff.
And this just shows that, Standard's in a great spot. There are no dominant colors. Just look at the top 8. There's no way to say one color is better than any of the others.
There's a lot of green. But yeah, okay, so that is one thing I wanted to talk about Standard's health. But before we do that, I did want to say, if you're interested in playing fantasy, like Pro Tour stuff with us, you can head on over to our Discord channel. It's in the show notes below, the link. You can go there. We always like to play some fantasy, pick 8 players for a team. It's a lot of fun. And then maybe you could be the winner, get shouted out on the podcast, and be able to say that you were the one who beat us in fantasy Magic the Gathering. Anyway, so the health of Standard. I am back and forth about this thing. Because obviously what we're seeing in this top 8 is not like when you come into the tournament and it's like, I'm expecting blue red everywhere, right? In the top 8, you just kind of expect it because there's so much of it. It was obviously targeted, doesn't do well in the top 8, doesn't win. And even the main, is it prowess was the main archetype, doesn't make it at all. And the second best archetype, Mono Green Landfall, we have a couple decks. Like we have 2 Mono Green Landfall decks, but then 2 landfall adjacent decks that do make it to the finals and win the whole thing. That feels a little bit more like a team took an archetype and then changed it enough so that it worked with what they wanted to do, which is what I want the Pro Tour to be like. But do you feel like Standard is really healthy right now? Healthy?
No. It depends what you mean, but it feels like we're in a very rock, paper, scissors kind of thing going on here. I think if you just look at the numbers, the story this is telling is that the landfall decks can beat the Izzet decks. The Izzet decks were probably keeping out the stuff that could beat the landfall decks. And so the story of the tournament is like, is it beat up on everything that would normally be good against landfall, and then landfall beats it.
Yeah.
And so that's not necessarily an unhealthy place to be. Like rock, paper, scissors formats can be good a lot of the time. It's just that for me, two of the decks here that are like the whole thing feel very almost combo-y. Like both decks are just kind of trying to do their thing, and it mostly doesn't matter what you're doing. And they just kind of like, I'm going to race to 30 as quickly as possible or whatever. And so the question is, what's the other one? Like, what's the deck that beats landfall? And my concern is it's just going to be like something that goes over the top, some sort of ramp type thing or whatever. And then that's also very, I tend to call them solitaire decks, where it's just like, I don't super care what's going on the other side of the table, as long as it's not faster than me.
Yeah.
And these two decks are kind of like that already. And I think... there's nothing necessarily wrong with a rock, paper, scissors format. I guess what I'm saying is I don't like the rock or the paper, and I don't think I'm going to like the scissors, so it's not a format for me, maybe.
Yeah. That it's not like when was the last rock, paper, scissors format that we like truly had? Was that like all the way back in like Adventures?
That's the one that comes to mind because I liked that format so much.
Yeah. And we played a lot of it.
Yeah, that was like, there was Rogues, Adventures, and Yorion. And Rogues was kind of like, so almost the aggro deck. Adventures was the mid-range deck, and then Yorion was the control deck. And it kind of, each deck had a lot of play against each other one, and you could sort of tune it. But it was sort of, that was kind of the rock, paper, scissors metagame. That was great. But this one is like, they're all just combo decks. It doesn't have that aggro mid-range combo or control feel to it that one did. I'm sure there's one that's been more recent, but that's the one I like to default to in my head when I think of an awesome rock, paper, scissors format.
Yeah. Yeah. I also thought that was great, but a lot of people hated that format because it felt like there were 3 decks and there's nothing else to do.
Right. And if you want diversity, like,
of course,
we're not in a diverse format. That's for sure. You can there's a lot of stuff you can play, but you just have to accept that it's worse than the big 2 or 3 things to be doing.
Yeah, which, to be fair, is a lot of Magic anyway.
It's I think an artifact of these bigger standards.
Yes, larger formats can be like that.
All the niche stuff is just, it's so hard to compete when
Yeah.
The raw card quality in the other decks is insane.
Which is not really going to change anytime soon.
No.
We don't have rotation until 2027. So this is the year where we just skip rotation altogether. It's like normally we'd have the one more set, Marvel superheroes, and then when we hit The Hobbit, it would be our rotation time, but that's not the case. So we're still chilling with everything till 2027, and then it still feels like we have all the cards from 2025, all the cards from 2026. So it's just like, it just feels like so much still. But anyway,
I kind of feel like the older a format gets, the more cards that are in the pool, the more it's true that everything is combo. Like if you look at Pioneer or whatever, all the best things to be doing are just combo, linear. It's like game 1 is linear, kill by turn 3. Game 2 is bring in whatever interaction you have and maybe play a real game of Magic. And this is just getting that feel to me. Like these aren't combo decks necessarily in the traditional sense of like I have 2 cards that win the game when I cast them together.
yeah.
But these are like, they feel that kind of combo-y where if I get my pieces, then I just explode for an insane amount. And I think that's being true here, even in Standard. And so we've talked about it before. It's a combination of longer time period, but also more sets per year. So this is feeling like this doesn't feel like we went from 2-year standard to 3-year standard. It feels like we went from 2-year to 4-year, or whatever, because the number of sets is
It's
like
huge.
that. And
Yeah.
so I just kind of miss the old, like, you can play a balls to the wall aggro deck. You can play a combo deck if you want, or you could play a control deck, or you could play. You actually can play mid range and not take a friggin' 40% penalty to your win rate to do so.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Standard doesn't have like aggro and control anymore. It used to always have that.
Yeah. Yeah. It does feel, because obviously all these like prowess decks and the landfall decks feel like get the harmonizer down, get your Hydra down, get a bunch of landfall triggers, win in one huge swing.
Yeah, and they're very explosive. Like, if you don't interact with me in turn 2 or 3, you're just gonna die.
You're just gonna die.
Lessons
Which
is very like, oh, set my stuff up, and then I just pop off and cast 17
Yeah.
cards in a single turn. Like, it's very stormy.
Yeah, so it's what it is. But it is kind of disheartening that there just doesn't really feel like we get the resets that we usually do. And even though like this isn't even like the end of it, we still have 4 more sets for the year that we're gonna have for a while.
4 more. That's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah, it's insane.
It
4 more
already
sets.
feels like an old format, you know?
Yes. Because for the most part, I feel like people are just going to kind of stick to what they have, because it's. I don't know. I don't know what would push them to really try something super out of the way. Like, if we're talking about bans and things, which this Pro Tour is not going to warrant any bans. They're not going to ban anything.
Definitely not.
Like, it would be nice if they banned like steam vents and like Spire Bluff Canal, or or I guess the Verges or whatever. But it's
They're gonna ban, like, I don't know, the weirdest thing.
yeah, something
Monument to endurance, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That was
It was
the
like,
problem.
that was the coolest part.
It's the only part I didn't hate about that deck.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that I don't know. Anyway, Jeff, let's talk about new cards. Let's talk about
Yeah.
exciting stuff on the horizon.
But wait, Secrets of Strixhaven just came out.
Yeah, of course, but we do need, if there's a major event, we have to have spoilers. So we got spoilers for the next 3 sets. Though, like, one of the sets I'm very excited for, one of them I'm pretty excited for, and one of them I'm not that excited for at all.
One of them exists.
It's gonna happen.
One of them is slated.
Yes, and that is the next one. Marvel Superheroes coming out. Not super stoked on this one. Nothing really against Marvel, but I feel like I feel like the whole cultural zeitgeist is kind of over it by now. Like, if you wanted to play Marvel cards, there's an entire card game that you can play on your phone for free.
If you're super duper into Marvel, this option kind of already exists for you.
Exactly.
Also, like, there's no shortage of Marvel content for you.
Exactly. There's, like, actually, too much, right?
Yeah, definitely too much.
And so we did get a card previewed. It's the next stone, the Infinity Stone. Or those of you who play on Arena, Terminus. Because we don't get any of the Marvel IP. I think that's another reason why I think ultimately, after all of this stuff, I know I was kind of pushing to be excited. Like, oh, there's no Marvel crap on Arena.
Yeah.
I wish there was Marvel crap on Arena. I really...
Well, if
the
I'm wishing
Omen
for
Pass-
stuff, I wish these sets just, like, didn't exist. But
Yes, but in the world where we live right now,
It'd be better that it's all marble than
Yes,
split.
it would be better that they didn't have. It didn't make it feel like when you play Arena, you're playing like the bargain bin version of stuff, which is a little bit what it feels like. Fleam may be excluded, but yeah,
And even just watching coverage or copying deck
It's-
lists, it's already so annoying.
I think it's just so confusing. But anyway, the Mind Stone, because obviously Mind Stone's already a card in Magic, so they had to make sure it says the Mind Stone. It's 1 and a white for a mythic legendary artifact, Infinity Stone. It has indestructible. You can tap to add white and pay 5 and a white. Tap it to harness the Mind Stone. And if it's harnessed, it gets an ability forever. At the beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 other target non-land permanent you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. These are not really exciting to me.
I
It's
don't
like-
get this. This seems awful. Like, I know they're probably going to do some sort of, like, Cauldron thing where if you acquire all of these, you win the game or whatever.
Yeah.
But this just seems so bad. That's so
It seems-
much mana for that ability.
It's a lot like...
I had to read this, like, 3 times because I was like, there's no way that's all this final ability does. And
it
I
also
love
taps-
flicker effects. I love
It
it.
taps for mana.
This should be the kind of thing I love. But 6 plus tap this.
Oh, plus it costs 2 mana to play.
Right.
So
So,
it's
we're
like-
talking like so much mana for. This is a very late game. What am I
Conjurer's Closet?
exiling that I'm excited about? Maybe I guess it's a commander thing, so I just don't get it. But like, I can't even imagine this
It's
being
gotta
good.
be.
If you're doing the flicker thing in commander,
No, what it is that it takes up a
that it-
mana rock slot, and then
yeah,
also
it's a
happens
mana
to
rock
have,
that can do something later. But like,
as opposed to it replaces
even
your
then, are
Mind
you
Stone.
psyched? This is like a mild improvement over whatever mana rock you already have. You know.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. I 100% agree. Don't love it.
This was baffling to me when I saw it. I was like, why is this so
It's
bad?
like very
Can't they
meh.
just...
They even had the guy who played Vision come on stage to like announce the card.
He probably has no idea how bad it is.
No, he does not. But anyway, it just reminds me that we have like 4 more Marvel sets after this one, because they have to do 1 Infinity Stone in each set, obviously.
Sure.
And how many of those are going to like were small but now got turned into big
See, I was living in
ones?
blissful ignorance because I didn't know how many Infinity Stones there were.
Well, you knew there's at least 5, but there's 6, in fact.
No, I was
So-
managing to convince myself there was only 2. I was like, maybe there's only 2 Infinity Stones.
Jeff, you know that there's a gauntlet. You know how many fingers you have on your hand. You got.
How do I know that each stone is for each finger? Maybe there are 2 gauntlets. 1 stone per gauntlet.
Jeff, you're trying to tell me that you've never seen the Thanos gauntlet before. That's a
Well,
lie.
I'm sure I've
You
seen
lied
it
to me.
in like magic card art.
You've seen it in just your life. I'm sure. There's no way. I don't believe it. I don't believe you.
I don't
Anyway.
watch Marvel films. Except Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, the original.
No, I was gonna say you watch Spidey and Friends is what you watch.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Okay, we moved
over
on
that.
from Spidey and Friends. Okay. Anyway, the other thing is like I was talking about this in our Discord, but like the alt art treatments of the Mind Stone are like exactly the same as the ones for the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
It's like a comic book version of Thanos, but instead of the Soul Stone thing, it's the Mind Stone thing, and the color is yellow, which I know is like from a comic book or whatever, but like boring.
Yeah.
And then the actual like one is like, you know, shiny and gold, but it's like a big stone, and it's like also they're all just gonna look like that. Like I get it, but at least
know,
the base version is very like you can distinguish it from the other stones very easily, while the alt ones are just like this is kind of the same thing. Anyway,
And this art is harkening back to like some old school magic arts for super
Like,
powerful
this is cool.
artifacts, and it's I feel like
it.
this just doesn't live up to it. You know, the art is reminiscent of these awesome old artifacts from Magic's history,
Yeah.
and then the ability sucks.
The ability sucks. Mindstone sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I would
Anyway,
way prefer the original Mind Stone over this.
okay. Yeah, maybe. I mean, like, who wants a mana rock in white, really? But anyway,
Not me, because I'm playing White Weenie.
yeah, and losing
But
a lot.
Yeah, I think your point stands though, where it's just like this is supposed to be some sort of ultra powerful thing, and then the art is super generic on them all, and it's kind of like for the altar,
yeah.
yeah, where it's just like fits into some gauntlet I've never seen or heard of. So I don't know.
I don't know. It just
Feels
doesn't
like they
make
could
me-
have at least. I don't know if each stone individually does something in the lore, or you have to
do.
combine them all. But like, you
No.
could have shown the stone in action. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like that would have been cooler art.
for the alt art ones, yeah, or something.
Yeah, like,
or like
show
kind
him
of
actually
reminiscent of what it
using
actually
the Mind
does.
Stone somehow.
Or we could have shown, because like in Marvel Cinematic Universe, like the stones are with different characters that don't realize that they're part of a bigger collection, and so all these different characters have the stones. So like I was saying before,
Instead
Vision,
of it all just being like Thanos' meaty fist or whatever.
exactly. Like Vision, it's like in his head, and he can do like laser beams and some other stuff. I'm not exactly sure. I'm sure everybody loves us butchering Marvel. lore.
Yeah. Also, this ability doesn't scream mind laser beams.
No, it doesn't. Why doesn't it say like flicker something, and then when it enters the battlefield, it laser beams somebody? Like,
Yeah.
come on.
It's got a laser
Like, what
beam.
is? Where's like harness laser beam? Where's that on this card? That's what I want.
Nowhere to be
Ridiculous. Yeah. Boo. Let's talk about a different legendary artifact, Jeff. I'm tired of that other one.
Sure.
Moving on over to the Hobbit, a set I'm actually excited for. More so than Marvel, primarily because for my wedding, my best man gave me a Frodo and Sam commander deck, and I want to continue to add cards to that deck.
Nice.
But I only want it to be Lord of the Rings cards. Like, that's the main thing. So
I was going to say, you can add Marvel cards to that. It's not against the rules.
no, fuck that. Oh, god damn it! Shut up. Put the Mind Stone on Frodo. Flicker him. Anyway, Jeff, can you read us the legendary artifact that's coming with the Hobbit? And we obviously
I'd be
know
happy
what this
to.
card's going to be.
This is called My Precious. It is a 3-mana colorless artifact. It is a legendary equipment, and it has adventure. The instant adventure spell is Allure of Power, 1 and a black, has additional cost to cast it, sacrifice a creature, draw 2 cards. And the equipment side says, equipped creature has hexproof and can't be blocked, equip 2, pay 2 life. Now we're talking. This is
So
my
I was
kind of
gonna-
card here.
I read this card and I was like, this has Jeff written all
I
over
would
it.
legitimately and have just played Allure of Power. Just that part. I wish that I had that card right now.
And this one just has a bunch of extra stuff if you want to use it. Like,
Yeah. And it
It
makes
is-
my big creature that gets all the counters when I sack stuff on it unblockable
Hexproof.
and hexproof.
that's pretty good.
Pretty
That's pretty
good.
good.
And just putting it on like your blood artists or whatever so that they can't be killed sounds sick. Just love it.
Yeah.
This is great.
Just love it. I wish it was only pay 2 life to equip it, but I understand why.
that might be a little good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But still,
It's quite
really
expensive,
cool
right?
card.
You're giving something hexproof for 5 mana.
for 5 mana,
Yeah.
that's a lot. But the fact that you can do either or, and the fact that this
You
legendary
could split
artifact,
it up. It's 3 plus 2. It's not 5. And all
it's
that.
true. When you draw them in multiples, you get to use the spell side and just sit the other one out for a while. All that stuff is really cool. So
Yeah.
I'm
I like it a
happy with
lot.
this.
I'm skeptical how good it actually is. Like, it's a card I like, but I think the numbers are a little not pushed enough to really get it across the finish line.
It feels like a maybe a 2 of in like a sack deck, and then to see how it goes.
Exactly. It's going to start as a 2 of, become a 1 of, and then I'm going to begrudgingly cut it. I already know.
Yes.
But I'm happy to go on that journey.
Yes. Yeah, because like what else is in that slot right now? There's a land that does this.
I love that land too, but it's never really been that good for me. I thought that card was awesome. But
it could just also be that the deck is like not that good.
Not very good. How dare you?
Maybe.
How dare you?
Maybe.
You're suggesting that some variant of Aristocrats is not the scissors we need to complete the rock, paper, scissors format that is standard.
Yeah, I just don't think you can gain enough life or deal enough damage fast enough to...
I have played against Mono Green Landfall as a sacrifice deck many times. It is a difficult matchup, to say the least. They are way too fast, and we don't have enough interaction.
And they have way too much trample, I think.
They're so resilient. Yeah, exactly. You can't just, like, block sack, because you just eat 13 or whatever.
Yeah. There's like, cool. So you just...
you just take it all?
Take even more damage? Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Oh no, your Blood Artist triggers? Okay.
Yeah, okay.
That actually goes on the stack, and you take 38 before that resolves.
Yeah. Yeah. So... anyway, we'll see about this card, but one other interesting thing about this is that I think the big thing people were asking was, is the One Ring going to be in Standard? Is it coming with the set? The Hobbit has the One Ring in it all over the place. How could you possibly not have the One Ring in the
I feel
set?
like this is their way of including it without including that card.
Yes. But I do have some controversy I don't know if you know about.
Oh.
I don't know if you're going to like it. So,
I always like controversy.
the One Ring is going to be reprinted as a box topper for boxes of The Hobbit. That's not the controversy I'm talking about.
Okay, I was like, I don't hate that.
Yeah. So if you buy a box, you get the One Ring. Cool. The art of the One Ring, the new one, is made by Dan Frazier. And when it was promoed, it looks strikingly familiar. Obviously, it's a ring. Rings look like other rings. And people were saying, oh, this looks like an inverted version of the last one that was made by another artist that I unfortunately don't have their name in front of me at this moment. Anyway, there was a lot of speculation whether Wizards had taken the art and changed it and made it like digital or whatever. Dan Frazier's like agent came out and said that he had never seen that image before and didn't know anything about it. Later, we get a statement from Dan Frazier saying that he did in fact take their art, invert it to use it as something to sketch over because he wanted it to feel like the other one. But it's way too similar, and didn't tell Wizards about it. Wizards also was sad, but also backed up Dan saying, people make mistakes. He's a beloved artist. He made a mistake. We're going to give him a pass. And that's what's happening with that. Pretty huge bummer. Dan Frazier is a monster artist in the Magic community. And the fact that this had happened kind of tells me a couple things.
Dan is like super old school. Like he did a lot of the OG stuff.
He did. So it's very surprising that he would feel the pressure to do something like this. Now, taking pieces from different references and sketching over them or using stuff from different places, that's a very normal thing in art.
Sure.
Like a lot of times people will be like, I'm going to take the mountain range from this area and the tree from this area and the river and the boats from this area to make my scenic piece. That's not unusual. But taking it from somebody else's art is kind of strange. Usually it's kind of like from pictures in the real world and stuff.
Yeah.
And so doing that is not great. And this is not the first time that Wizards has... There have been artists who have done this for cards, where they invert
All the
something
time,
and kind of
it
sketch
feels
over
like
it.
just-
And what it feels like to me is that the commissions, there's so much stuff getting pumped out all the time that it feels like there's too many things that have to get done too quickly. And so artists are taking these shortcuts. Even the great ones like Dan Frazier are taking these shortcuts because of this pressure to keep the freaking shareholders happy. And it's corrupting the people that we love so dearly. It just makes me really sad. And
I think, yeah, and part of it, like I've read a little bit about it because this keeps happening, is that they basically don't get paid enough for the amount of effort that it actually takes to produce these pieces, and so the incentive to shortcut it is very high because
they need
it's
to
not
get more
like
pieces out.
you're getting the appropriate compensation for putting in the work. So another part of me is like, is it corrupting beloved people, or is it revealing something that's kind of been happening for a while just because we have so much more information like going on now? The Reddit community can spot this shit in like
It's so
5
fast.
seconds after it gets spoiled.
Yeah, because they were trying to say that like, oh, the background is Dan Frazier, but the rest of it is digital something that Wizards had done.
Weird. Okay.
And then and so they weren't even saying that Dan Frazier did anything wrong. They were like, oh, Wizards just decided to screw with this image.
Yeah.
And then Dan coming out and making this statement. And then people saying that Wizards did it, but then they're paying Dan off to take the fall. And it's like, there's no way that that's the case. Like, that's just preposterous.
It's a kind of a crazy theory.
Yeah, especially because the fact that this happened is that Wizards isn't, or Hasbro really isn't giving them enough money in the first place. So, but this is something that's happening in every field all over the place, is that people are not getting paid what they need to survive or continue to work for the effort that they have to put in. And other people that aren't doing that work are benefiting. So anyway, a continuation of something that's very sad that's happening in our world, or at least in this this part of the world.
You know, we were just talking about the like old school magic art for these powerful artifacts being referenced.
Yeah.
Just looked it up. Dan did the original Moxes.
Yes. Yeah.
So we were talking about his art already.
And how important that is. So, I don't know. Anyway, that was something
Too
that
bad.
happened. That was technically magic news stuff, but
Yeah.
wanted to bring it up because, I don't know, art is important to me on these cards and stuff. And
It's a huge part of the game. Like, the game wouldn't be as successful as it has been if it didn't have great art.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
a hallmark of Magic, is the art is really exceptional.
Exactly. So, ugh. They should just remember that. Also, anytime there's a reason to like pull back on the amount of sets that are coming out, I'm all for. Also, because this is a different weird tangent about Magic art, but like, I love reprints. I think reprints are awesome. I love new versions of artwork for pieces that we've had before.
Sure.
But I also like it to feel like the card is the card. And if there's too many versions of a card, like I do the series, like I show my wife Magic cards on Instagram, and just to see what she thinks. And we do like, it's fun to just go, hey, here's a bunch of different artworks of the same card. Which one would you want in your deck?
Right.
And every
That's a
single
real
time,
decision we have to make.
it's a real decision you have to make. Yeah, right. It's like, which duress do you like? Which
Or really,
whatever.
what are your top 4? Because you can choose
Yeah,
4 different arts.
exactly. But you probably want to just stick to the one. It's always fun. Feels better. Anyway, there's always somebody in my comments telling me, "Hey, you forgot about this one, or why didn't you show her this one, or whatever." I was like, "That it was a Judge promo from something. Nobody has a card. That was a secret layer that came out recently. Like, it's like I'm talking about the iconic ones that when you put the card down without the name, people know what that does. That's what I'm talking about.
You missed the like all black one that you can't read.
It's like, why would I put that one there? That one's awful. Yeah, so sometimes it's like, oh, when we have too many, it's like, oh, we're reprinting a bunch of these cards again with different art. It's like, how many different arts do we need for this one card? It's nice to have variety, but like,
But
at a
once you
certain
have
point, it's
like
always,
6 or whatever,
Yeah.
just cycle. It'll feel fresh.
yeah, exactly. It's like, oh, that's Force of Will. Oh, sorry, I didn't even realize. Like, I
Yeah.
just,
Ooh.
which one was that? Oh, that was like a double master or something, or what? Okay, or that was all right, sure, the invocation version or whatever. Like that one, not so much, because that's just like, those are few and far between. You don't really see invocations, but
But those are like, I think that's why I like them so much. It feels like a reason to have a new art, and it's like
it's very
I
rare.
always end up choosing those ones because the work that goes into those pieces is always like very substantial compared to the random, oh, we're printing duress for the 18th time. We want new art for some reason. Like, this is pirate themed duress, you know? It's like, okay. It wouldn't have, there are plenty of duress arts you could use in Ixalan that wouldn't feel out of place.
Well, that's also what I want to know. Like, oh, there's some really cool ones that we've only done like once back in the day. It's like, can we just redo that one? That one was awesome.
Yeah,
Like,
I don't know if that's a rights thing. Like
It's probably
they only
a
owned it
rights
for
thing.
so long or whatever.
That's I'm assuming that that's exactly what it is. And they're like, let's just commission a new one. But it's also like, you could also just repay an artist.
Yeah, just reach out to that artist. It's got to be cheaper, right? Be like, hey, can I
way
renew
cheaper.
my
Hey.
subscription?
Yeah, we're just gonna do that
Here's my
again.
$17.99 per month that I
Yeah.
owe you for that.
It's like definitely more than that, but but like,
Yeah, in my
it's a
head, it's
way-
the same as like a Netflix subscription. It's an art subscription.
But it's a way for an artist to get paid again without having to do any extra work, right?
Sure,
So
yeah.
it's
They're
like,
n- like, what are the odds they say no, right?
there's
like,
no
what-
way they say no.
What is that piece that they made for Magic's Direct? Like, it's not doing anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, please reprint. Just do that. I don't know. I would be really excited if they're like, oh yeah.
Unless
Or,
there
like,
was some
bringing
sort
back-
of falling out, you know? Or they're just
I
so
mean,
pissed
some
it
of the
was-
artists, yeah, that's true. But some of it's like, yeah, just get like the one from 7th edition. That's cool. I
Always,
just, like,
always get the 7th edition art, baby.
it's like, come on, there's some cool ones. I don't know. Anyway, all right, Jeff, it's time for beer number 2. Isabella.
Excited for this one.
Isabella. Yeah, let's just crack this open. I'm ready.
Random fact, that was the name of the local pizza place that we used to order from when I was growing up. Isabella's.
Ooh, Isabella's. Nice. That's perfect.
Yeah.
It makes perfect sense. Also, that's just a nice name.
Yeah, it was pretty good, too. Just happened to be very close to us.
We went to Blackjack Pizza, is what we used to get.
Nice.
Yeah. It was probably because my mom really likes decks of cards and playing cards. So she was like,
Gamer
Blackjack,
family.
perfect.
A card gamer family.
Yeah, yeah. My mom likes to remember rules that we haven't ever played by when we're playing games with her. It's like, oh,
But
yeah,
only
well,
when
you
they
can't-
benefit her, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you can't do that.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? I've done this so many times. No, you're not allowed to do that. It was like, since when?
Since I drew that
Which is
card, and
which
I
is
don't
part of the
want to do
fun. Which is part of the fun
Yeah,
of the whole
of
thing.
course.
Which is just yeah. So that's great. It's wonderful. And then I married a woman who does not want to play games. No card games. So Anyway, cheers. Delicious. Last thing I wanted to bring up for the Hobbit is that the marquee card, the chase card or whatever, is a dragon. Obviously, for the story.
Really?
We kind of knew this.
Okay.
Smaug, however you pronounce it.
I think it's Smaug.
Smaug. That's what I was gonna say, but then in the back of my head, I was thinking Smog because smoke and smog. Anyway, but yeah, Smaug the Magnificent is a 2 red for a 4/3 legendary creature, mythic. It has flying and haste. Whenever Smaug attacks, he deals damage equal to the number of treasures you control to any target. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a treasure token. So, hasty 4-mana dragon. Sure.
I don't know, man. This is a banger. Like, whoa, it's a lot of stuff. If there's any reasonable way to generate treasures in the early game, like a 4-mana 4/3 that can shock something, it's wild. 4/3 flying haste for 4 that shocks.
I guess that's true.
It
I guess
creates treasures.
That's
Like,
in subsequent
I think a lot of
turns.
people are like, "Oh, that makes them deal 1 extra damage every turn." It's like, no, that ramps you too. Like, I don't know. This seems like a hell of a card. I just wonder if this is what the game is about anymore. You know, like
It just
this
doesn't
is
feel like it.
To me, it feels like a red-green. You know those like classic old red-green decks that always used to exist in Standard, where it's like my curve is just incredibly powerful, all the way up and down, and it's like
every
my
single
2-drop
card
is
is
sick,
just-
and my 3-drop is sick.
You're gonna
and
die to all of these.
and I have a 5-drop that's awesome, and I have removal up and down the curve. I don't think those decks are good anymore. But this would be like an incredible card for that kind of deck. I just don't know if that gets the job done in our new 5-year Standard environment.
Yeah. Anytime I see a dragon at mid-range like this, if it is specifically red dragons, obviously, if it's not like Goldspan vibes, which famously Goldspan came down, haste, immediately made a treasure, tapped treasures for double mana, so it protected itself in combat.
It also ended up mostly like it was good. It also, one of its main use cases was like combo, not just like, mid-range beats.
Yeah.
Which this is very mid-range beats. There's no combo
There's
portion
no
going
other
on here.
Yeah. Goldspan, you got the treasure right away. It was more mana, but like...
And you had that stupid draw spell that would create 2 treasures, so it was essentially free. And then it was like a whole rabbit hole after that. And they could stack, because they weren't legendary or whatever. And so they'd all be making treasures all over the place.
It was just... and then they're just taking extra turns,
Yeah.
So every time a dragon comes down like this and it just doesn't do that, or it doesn't do like you're saying, combo-y stuff, where it's like, hey, I'm a big dragon, but I also could combo if that happens. But I'm also just a dragon. 3 toughness makes me not really excited.
Like, think about the dragon we already have that blows up the lands or whatever. That's a hell of a card, too. I
can't even remember what the hell you're talking about.
Oh, there's some sort of, like... Hellraiser.
Oh, the non-basic land blowing up guy.
That's a good card.
Yeah, I was excited for that card when it was coming out.
I never see anyone play it, except in planar Standard occasionally.
Yeah. Which this one obviously will not be part of planar Standard at all.
So, like, maybe there's a deck where those are your 2 sort of 4-drop. There's Llanowar Elves. Like, that green-red deck could exist. I just don't think it's going to be as good as just Ouroboros.
Yeah, definitely not. That is way better. That like wins that. I mean, probably the next turn after you play it. But
so this feels like it would have been an incredible card in the old days of Standard, and in today's age, it's kind of like yeah, great card. It's just not what the game's about.
Yeah. I do like flavorfully, I think it makes sense as far as like the card goes. But like caring about treasures for this character. But yeah, I think that
Caring about treasures, I get. It seems like he gets more pissed off the more treasure he has in this design. I don't know if I get that part.
I was thinking he gets more powerful the more treasure he has.
That's true.
And
But,
if he doesn't have treasure, he's
know.
not very powerful.
Feels like he just kind of sits in his lair and hoards his treasure. I don't get hoarding treasure from this, other than I guess he creates it every turn. Maybe it's okay.
If he just sits...
But he gets pissed off and like attacks when people steal his treasure, right?
That's true.
So it should be whenever your opponent steals your treasure token.
This creature must attack next turn or something. Yeah.
It's like a horrible card.
I just feel like I need more right now. So I just don't think the cards that make treasures early in the game.
What if this treasure triggered on Ant Step? Will that change your opinion at all?
I'd be a little bit happier, I think.
Because then you at least
you
like
have
if they
it
just
for the
untap
next
and
turn.
kill it, you got something.
You got a treasure.
Something more than 4 damage.
Yeah. Besides 4 damage, and that's it. Like there has to be some cheap red creatures that just like is a 1/1 that makes a treasure or something. We need like a wily goblin thing. Is that what it's called? It's like a 2-mana 1/1 that makes a treasure or something like that. Or 2/2. 2-mana 2/2 makes a treasure.
I mean, there's the Strixhaven dude.
Way too slow. You kidding me?
3 mana 2/2.
3 mana 2/2 with the treasure takes multiple turns. Yeah. Anyway, I was just kind of bringing up again like the one from Strixhaven, Emeritus of Ideation, a card that I just felt did make it to the Pro Tour, right? But mostly in sideboards. The Mind Stone is like the marquee card. Not excited for it. Smaug, more excited for because it's cool, and the alt art version is actually sick as hell. If you've looked that up,
I have not. I gotta check that out.
There's one that's like textless, but it feels very like it's just like gold and just cool. It's like kind of written in like, I don't know, old-timey book font, and it's got like arrows, and it's like he's almost looking through like a window of a castle or something.
Oh, I love this.
Yeah.
This is awesome. This is very like old school fantasy gaming.
Very like traditional fantasy stuff. So I like that part of it. So it seems like a fun card to chase as far as that version. But the other versions seem like perfectly fine in your commander deck. But spoiler alert, probably not worth a slot in your standard deck, personally.
They got to print a lot of good cheap treasure enablers.
Which sounds like a disaster. Hey, give red more ways to ramp. We should do that.
I don't know. They gave blue friggin', ancestral recall. So clearly they're not.
They didn't give blue ancestral recall. But speaking of that card, actually,
called it a lesson.
Oh right, sorry. You're talking about a different. I'm sorry. You're right.
I'm talking about a different time they gave blue ancestral recalls.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Then when they actually did it, yeah, with Grand and another card. Anyway, Jeff, I want to talk about the real meat and potatoes. We're like an hour 20 minutes into this episode.
Yeah. Now let's talk about what we wanted to talk about.
Finally, let's talk about what we want to talk about. Reality Fracture, the set I'm now most excited for, which actually,
I was always most excited for this one, though. Of those three.
Oh, yeah, of these three. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I was going to say of the sets this year.
I think coming into 2026?
I think I was mostly hyped for Lorwyn Eclipsed.
Yeah.
And then it quickly changed to Strixhaven. And now that Strixhaven's out and I'm playing it.
Awesome.
Okay. Well, not all of us had the time of our life like you did, but
such
Reality
a great
Fracture.
limited format.
All right. I don't want to talk about this anymore. No, Reality Fracture seems pretty interesting, especially going hand in hand with Strixhaven that we're in right now, and I do adore. Because we finally know
I am really
what's
enjoying
happening.
Strixhaven. So.
Yeah, what's happening with the set. And Mark Rosewater was talking about how when Strixhaven first came out, they had the enemy color pairs for colleges. Everyone kept asking him, where are the ally ones? We can't wait till there's the ally ones. And he kept saying, well, there aren't any because we didn't build it into the world because that wasn't what we wanted to do.
Right.
We're doing this.
Yeah.
However, now with Reality Fracture, apparently, so in the story, Jeff, I don't know if you know a lot about this, since we kind of stopped reading the story officially on the podcast.
I know nothing.
Apparently, Jace does some shit in the meditation realm. He tries to remake the multiverse where no one has been hurt by the likes of Nicol Bolas, the Eldrazi, the Phyrexians, take all the pain and suffering away from everybody, and make his own version of the multiverse, which is better. In doing so, I think he uses like the End Stone and some other stuff. He blows up into a million pieces, but because he's with the meditation realm, he can like reattach himself for some reason. The meditation realm blows up and reforms over and over again in Magic's universe, apparently. And so that's happened a lot. So instead of remaking the past, he has created an alternate universe, which is this Reality Fracture. And a huge part of it, and his like base of operations, I guess, is what he is calling Hexhaven, which is the inverse of Strixhaven. With that, there's a bunch of cards, primarily characters we know, planeswalkers, who are different colors. But to show that we have different colored planeswalkers and everything, we are doing both the real version and the new alternate universe version. So Chandra is a good example. To standard, we are getting Chandra Torch of Defiance, a reprint that we all know and love, which also I think is a really sweet card, but I fear that a really strong card from the past that's getting reprinted as standard will do nothing to standard.
I think it's what we just talked about, right? Like, this was good in exactly the deck that we were just saying no longer exists. These like red, green, just my cards are good at every point on the curve. And I think, the fact this is almost Wizards acknowledging that, because this was back in the day, for those who weren't around the first time, this was like almost a mistake printing this card. Like, this card was way too good relative to
everything else,
its own era.
Yeah.
And so a lot of decks were just like, I think the deck at the time that I always remember was called Soulless Red Black, because all it was just all the best red and black cards. There were no real theme. There were even really game plan. It could play aggro, it could play the long game. It just didn't matter. And so it was said to have no soul. If you played that deck, you didn't have a soul because you didn't like. You just played all the best cards. And this was a big reason that deck was playable. And it was like a stupid deck too, because it was it would have like double black next to triple red, like it had Goblin Chain Whirlers and stuff. And a lot of the reason you could do that was Chandra could play the Chain Whirler. So it was before I was a huge red-black mage, so I kind of missed the boat. I like red-black being the dominant standard deck.
But it's not necessarily your favorite way to play red-black. But
No, exactly. It was very... I mean, it's kind of like the Pioneer deck, I guess. Like the mid-range, not the non-vampire Rakdos Pioneer deck.
Version.
That's just very, like, I just play the best card at every point in the curve. It was kind of like that, and Chandra was a big reason that was doable. Now it feels like Chandra. That those types of Chandra's still a very strong card, but I don't think those types of decks are as powerful as they used to be.
Yeah. So, as it's exciting to have Chandra Torch of Defiance back in Standard, I think it will be the similar treatment of, man, this card was so good in the past, but Wizards is already ahead of us and knows that it's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, it's already happened with Liliana of the Veil, right?
Yeah, and we got Dark Confidant, like...
Oh, that one's been
we
bad
got-
for a long time, though.
Yeah, but I just mean, like, they do that often enough. But Jeff, there is a new Planeswalker, Chandra. A different, I was going to say spicy version, but it's...
Well, she's a little more chill.
Yeah, a little cooler than that. Do you want to read Chandra, Chill of Compliance?
Sure. Chandra, Chill of Compliance, costs 1 blue. What? For a Chandra Planeswalker. +1, Surveil 1. If you put a non-creature, non-land card into your graveyard this way, put that card into your hand. Okay, +1, add a blue, spend this mana only to cast a non-creature spell. -X, tap target artifact or creature, put X stun counters on it. And -6, you get an emblem with whatever you cast a spell, draw a card. Comes in with 3 loyalty counters.
Interesting. I don't know how excited I am for this actual card. But
Personally, I'm not. I don't want to play this card.
yes.
That's not a comment on whether or not I think it's good. It's just like,
Yeah. Not really.
This is not what I want to do.
Yeah. I think currently, yeah, just... I don't know about it, but...
But I've been complaining about the lack of control decks in Standard, and maybe
You need
this is
something
how you
like
get
this
there.
to... Maybe you want this to be your enemy, just so it can prey on the decks that you don't want to play against. That's an interesting thing.
Exactly. Yeah. I just don't know that it does.
Yeah, it might not be there. But the one thing I did also want to mention is that, to my understanding, these Planeswalkers are all the cards that are like mirror versions of something. Okay. This could be me misunderstanding exactly, but it sounded like when Mark Rosewater was talking about it that they're supposed to be in the same booster pack as each other.
Oh.
However, I don't know if he was trying to say they could be in the same booster pack or saying that they will be in the same booster pack.
Saying they could be is no information. Because of
Yes.
course that's true.
Because he was kind of talking about, like, what if sets, right? So, like, Reality Fracture is very similar to Planar Chaos. And, like, that whole thing, it's like, what if this character was this character, or this character was different, or whatever? And the reason that they didn't super love it the first time is that only enfranchised players knew the characters, so they understood the references. However, if you put the characters side by side, then new players or people who are not as enfranchised will know, oh, there's a difference between these two things. This one, they have the same name, but they're obviously different. Their names even sound very similar. So it would make sense if they put them in the same booster pack. But quite wild if, like, you're the one who opens this in your sealed pool. And you're like... Because there's tons of Planeswalkers. So it's like, oh, I just opened a Planeswalker pack that had both of the Garuks or both of the whatever. So
like is this a silver or a hex? Sorry, Hexhaven set where, like, those are the supported archetypes.
Yeah, so I'm fairly positive that the set is actually Hexhaven. So it is all allied colors. So right now we're currently in Strixhaven, which is all enemy. We will go to Hexhaven, which is all allied. It will still be 5 color pairs.
So maybe it's designed in such a way that, like, if you get both Chandras, that's not a supported archetype.
Yes. That is
So
true.
maybe that always is true. So you don't like you never get two planeswalkers and the obvious kind of.
That's true.
college
So
to
yeah,
put them
it from the pictures that we've seen, it looks like there's a Johnny who's white and a Johnny who's red. It looks like there's a Garruk who's green and a Garruk who's black, and
Right, so it's
Liliana
like
who's
the Silver Quill school.
yeah, and then Liliana who's black and Liliana who's white. Interesting. Okay, I didn't think about that. That's a good idea. And then probably Vraska who's whatever
Vraska
other colors.
is normally green black. I think of Vraska as black more so. So
More
maybe
she's had base black cards before,
so maybe she's white in this world,
or black.
or could just be green, but that would already be in her identity, right?
And according to our hypothesis, she can't be black red or black blue, because those are both supported archetypes. So probably just another black white planeswalker, which would just mean there's two black planeswalkers that turned white. That's very strange. Anyway,
Or if she's multicolor, I guess it changes a little bit because like if her
That's true.
base version is black green, that's already a stretch to play in
yeah.
Hexhaven.
So then you just change her to the opposite of both of those, or just one of those?
So like one of her copies makes sense in Hexhaven and one of them doesn't like make sense in Strixhaven.
Yeah, so it's like maybe it's like she makes sense in Witherbloom, but then she makes sense in like Fate Hold or something. So that's what I kind of wanted to bring
Or it
up.
could
is
be
that-
Vicar Bloom. Who knows? You know, like the black flips, but the green stays. I don't know. What does
Yeah,
Jace
that's
like
true.
about
That's true.
Vraska? What did he do?
Yeah, it's true.
Which
It's
one
like,
did
what
he
does he
want
like
to
about
preserve?
it? Yeah. Okay, so I did want to talk about the names of the Hexhaven schools
Okay.
for the set. All right, so there's 5 other ones, and obviously they're supposed to be like the Strixhaven schools, but a little bit different, right?
I'm a little curious. I find these names a little interesting. So
I would like to hear what your interesting thoughts are of these names. So for white blue, we have Fate Hold, the School of Future History.
right. So this is supposed to be the opposite of Lorehold in some sense.
Yeah.
And to me, this is kind of setting the understanding that there's some sort of like contradictory thing going on here. Like future history is, as a concept, does make sense, but it's sort of inherently a little odd,
False, yeah.
right? Like history will be made in the future, of course. But when we think of history, we think of looking backwards. When we think of future, we think of looking forwards. Cool. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fate Hold. Opposite of Lorehold. Makes sense.
We have Theorix, which is the School of Esoteric Mathematics.
This is the one I don't totally understand. So this is the opposite of Quandrix, I guess. But isn't mathematics already a little esoteric? Is the implication here that, like, mathematics is not esoteric? And that this is, like, backwards? Or this is, like, some sort of inherent
I think
contradiction?
it's... I don't know if everything is just the opposite, but I think that it's a different take on it. So I think what they were saying is that this is more theory-based mathematics as opposed to Quandrix, which is just quantifying stuff, I guess.
Yeah. The Quandrix cards seem to be pretty, like, theoretical as well.
I guess that's true. But yeah, so we'll see. I don't know. It looks like a color pair I want to play, but
And
maybe not.
If you're going to give me blue-black, I already dig that. You're going to call it
Yeah.
a mathematics thing. Now I don't have to feel as bad that the math school is friggin' green-blue.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
way
That's
to- way to
true.
go,
You get
Jace.
Yeah,
Approve this change.
good one for Jace. We have Stinger Quill, which is the black and red school. It's a school of painful words.
And this
Right.
part, like, this already feels a bit Silver
Silverquill.
Quilly to me, because they're like the aggro attack, and they
Yeah.
do use words as a weapon, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's like,
So
I
like,
don't know how this is different from Silver Quill in terms of
is it? I
just
wonder
from
if it's
like obviously we're trying to guess based on literally 2 words, painful
yeah,
words.
exactly.
But
But I wonder how much of it is like masochistic. Like, remember that part in Harry Potter where he has to write with the quill that writes on the back of his hand?
I was literally just thinking about that, like some sort of like voodoo kind of deal where
Yeah.
you're actually hurting people with words, whereas Silver Quill was like hurting people with words kind of thing. This is like no, literally like pain.
Like it's hurting me.
Yeah.
And or like maybe it's more blood magic kind of stuff where it's like
Right.
I have to hurt myself to then hurt you.
And it's
Could be
super
interesting.
psyched because it's a black-red supported archetype.
Yeah.
It's
So
definitely
that's
gonna be the
exciting.
best one, as is always the case.
We have Constrary, which is the school of constructive arts. Why did they do this? Why did they-
Constrari, like Prismari.
Yeah, Constrari. Like Prismari.
Constructive arts, I guess, is like architecture.
Yeah, it's like the Riveteers or whatever.
Yeah,
Right?
there's even like a big building there.
Yeah. This is where I'm like, some of these names. What do we
Yeah, I'm hoping like the theme gets built out a little more when you actually see some of the cards.
Yeah. And then the last one is a Vigor Bloom, which is green-white School of Invasive Healing. Which apparently is like, it almost feels blue in nature, but it's like students basically they graft plants onto people and themselves to have healing properties, and so they're like most of the students have like vines growing out of their bodies and stuff. So it feels very blue in essence, which is strange. But
Right, like that feels a bit Simic-y.
yes, exactly. Except it's less like the living things are like amphibians. It seems always like a Simic thing.
Right.
This is
The
much
living
more like
things.
it was the plants in the earth, I guess. And it's specifically about healing stuff as opposed to Simic, which is like making yourself better. This is like making yourself better, but like
Right.
because you're sick.
When I read
or
School of Invasive
hurting.
Healing, I was thinking like an invasive species, like a bug.
They could
And
okay,
healing, and I was kind of like, that's just Witherbloom.
yeah. Like what are
Same
you
thing.
doing? I kind of want to say that I don't really like these names off the first.
You know what though? I almost
Batch.
never do. Like I remember when
Yeah.
they released the names for the new cons, like when cons
Yeah.
of Dark Era, and I was like, these are terrible names. Sultai? That's not gonna catch on. And now it just feels so normal, and it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know why I objected so much on first reading. But
So you're saying you're telling me that you are no longer a Rakdos mage. You're going to be Stinger Quill.
if Stinger Quill communicates a meaningfully different deck archetype that is a very specific kind of red-black,
No,
then yes, I will
no,
use
you
it
won't.
faithfully.
You will definitely not. I think it's more so that like because these are so similar to the Strixhaven ones, I don't like it.
But we don't use the Strixhaven ones either, right? Like, you're not going to call your black-white deck Silver Quill unless you're actively drafting Strixhaven.
Silver Quill, yeah.
The only one maybe is Lorehold, because it's like a meaningfully different build of red-white than Boros.
Yes. No. That's totally fine. I just mean that like why didn't they make the decision to instead of saying Stinger Quill, just make up a completely new name, Stinger whatever.
Because
that you
Jace
could-
is not very creative.
I know that's the real lore answer because it is. Because that is the answer to the question. Jace is the one who made up all this stuff, and so it's whatever he decided things were going to be, and he wanted it to be this little play on words with stuff. But I think
the real answer is that marketing has to be way more on the nose than you always think it does. Like, they have to really pound it into your head that this is, it's like Strixhaven, but backwards. And so the name has to be flipped, and the
Hexhaven felt enough like it.
Yeah.
That, like, we don't have to be... Like, of all these names, I think Fatehold sounds the coolest.
Fatehold is... Yeah, Fatehold's the best one.
Personally, that's what I think. Constrari,
Constrari's the worst one, I agree. Actually, personally, I don't hate Vigor Bloom, but Stinger Quill, I think, is an offender. Constrari, I do not like at all. Theorix, I could take it or leave it. Like, what? I guess that's sort of Quandrix. It's different enough that it's like, okay, I could take Theorix.
I'm sure that they workshopped a bunch of different names.
Fatehold is the only one that's like legitimately a cool name that I think you could use, even if Strixhaven never existed. Like,
exactly. Fatehold just sounds cool as hell. Fatehold sounds like a sweet mechanic that White Blue would do. Do you know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah.
It's like, or it's like a new. You know how they Fate Seal?
Yeah.
It's like
all-time mechanic. Yeah. Fate
exactly.
Seal.
So, like, this is what... so this kind of has that feel to it.
I hope that's the mechanic for Fatehold. Fate Seal.
Like, couldn't we just call this, like, completely different, though? Like, Stinger Pen? You know? I need something like that. Just like, let's just do the opposite.
I think Fatehold is the only one you would ever legitimately come up with in a vacuum without all the other trying to flip Strixhaven.
Yeah, or just like, we're going to keep the end of the word, but we're going to change the beginning. I also, I feel the same way about the Chandra Chill of Compliance. Like, Chill of
Compliance was... When I read that, I was like, what?
Like, Torch of Defiance. Love it. Compliance rhyming with defiance. I really like.
Chill.
But the chill part...
Yeah.
But, like, what else could you say? Like, a torch? What's something that is a thing that makes stuff cold? Freezer of compliance. You know what I mean? Like, that's what... Actually, maybe I should write that and put it on my fridge. Or not my fridge, my freezer, obviously. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to put that on my oven. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah. Boom. Chandra Chill of Compliance. Taped to your oven.
Get it? It's Hexhaven. But anyway, I just I'm glad we got to go through and piece through all those names because I just don't like them that much.
This feels really forced.
It feels so forced.
Yeah.
But stupid Jace. If this is the last time we see Jace, that would be probably great.
There's no way.
He's now in his world. He's calling himself the Theorist, and so I believe his card is called the Theorist, Jace Beleren.
God.
Yeah. Anyway, even though
I thought it would be Jace the Body Sculptor.
Ooh, see, that's a Jace I could get behind. Like, all protein powder all the time.
Yeah.
Just a gruel Jace. Yeah.
Opposite of the Mind Sculptor.
Mm-hmm. Makes way more sense. He's going around rearranging people's bodies.
He's just like a gym bro. It's like, here's how you get huge pecs in under 30 days.
But he, like, attacks you mentally with his gym broiness. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. He still has those mind powers.
Exactly.
But he targets insecurities.
Yes. He's just, like, going after your belly fat or the fact that you're, like, not eating enough macros and, like...
Yeah. And he doesn't even necessarily attack you like that. He just speaks about macros and has an 8-pack that you're like, man, should I be thinking about macros?
It's kind of... It's like that... But also, did you ever watch What They Do in the Shadows? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's a TV show about like vampires who've been around for a long time, but it's like present day.
Oh, okay.
One of the,
I heard about this on, like, I heard an ad for this on one of the podcasts I listened to, I think.
and one of the characters in What We Do in the Shadows is an energy vampire. So as opposed to one of the classic ones who suck people's blood, this guy feeds off of people's energy. And what he does is he's a day walker, so he can be out in the sunlight. But he's that guy in your office that comes up to you and just starts asking about your weekend. And then like explaining what he did on his weekend, and the conversation drags on and on and on until you want to die, and it's because he's feasting off of your energy, and you're slowly like losing everything that you possibly had. And that's how he gets really powerful, is like going around and just talking people's ear off and sucking out their energy, and it's hilarious. So that's exactly what I think. It's like Jace is an energy vampire, but like Jim Bro version, forcing you to listen to his workout routine, and it's like sucking all the strength out of you, and he's like, that's how he gets bigger. See, like that.
See, I could get behind Jace if that's the version.
Yeah. Also, that is the unset that I'm looking for. Give us like, I know we did like unset
Jim Bro Jace
planets, but like, can we do unset planet fitness where Jace is there and he's just like getting so ripped by like sucking everybody's energy out of their bodies. God. Oh. Anyway, there is one or two last cards I do want to talk about from this set, because I think they're kind of cool. The Bloodline Recollector or Recollector. I'm not exactly sure how we're pronouncing this card, but this is the thing that makes me the most excited about this set, is the fact that we are bringing back Prepared. It's still in it. I have been loving it in Strixhaven. I'm like, why don't we have more of this mechanic? And the fact that they're just like, you know what, we're running it back in Reality Fracture is money. I think this is a great idea. So Bloodline Recollector is 1 and a black for a 2/2 vampire warlock creature at Mythic. It says at the beginning of each end step, if 3 or more creatures died this turn, this creature becomes prepared, and its spell is called Ancestral Craving, which is a single black for an instant. Target player draws 3 cards and loses 3 life. So pretty sweet card. Doesn't enter prepared, and so it needs a lot of stuff to get going. But I was interested, Jeff, what do you think about this card?
This is my favorite card that we've talked about tonight. First of all, both Recollector and Recollector are possible, but I interpreted it as Recollector, like remembering bloodlines.
Right.
Not like collecting bloodlines again, but that would also kind of make sense. So,
yeah.
To me, it's kind of like, that's what I assumed, but we'll see. So I'm going to call it Bloodline Recollector.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, come on. This card asks you to be sacrificing creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Really. That's what it does. Or, like, you know, people always say these, you know, like, you could kill your opponent's creatures and stuff. They never work out that way, because how are you going to kill 3 of your opponent's creatures in one turn, right? Like, that just doesn't happen if you're doing a normal thing. It never happens in a way that this also survives, you know what I mean? Like, so this is really asking you to sacrifice creatures, but boy, does it pay you off for doing that, and I love that that's an instant, because if it was a sorcery, it would just be like, alarm bell, opponent, kill this thing before I use it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's an instant and it triggers on end step, I could theoretically, like, do it and still fucking draw the 3 cards. Whereas I feel like recently where they've been printing cards like this, that would be a sorcery. You'd be like, well, okay, this fucking blows, because I get it on end step, and then my opponent knows that they have to get rid of this thing. So this feels a bit more like nothing you could do about this. And as I alluded to with the My Precious card earlier, one of the things that this deck this archetype misses, it has like almost all the pieces it needs. It is missing card draw that is powerful, that you want to play, that is good. And honestly, a lot of the time it's just that you don't want to play like an instant in your deck that is all about creatures and sacrificing creatures and like so yeah, this is awesome. We kind of talked about it earlier. Aristocrats just may not be a good strategy anymore. The power level may just not be there relative to the other things you can be doing. But I'll be damned if I'm not going to pick up a few of these and try.
Yeah.
I love that it's not a fucking legendary creature. So this is almost like a win con, because if you have 2 or 3 of these, you sack a bunch of creatures, and it's like boom, 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 like not to eat 9, you know?
That would be, yeah.
So it's like early game or mid game, I draw more. Late game, I have a couple of these. You're taking 6 a turn. On top of the Blood Artist triggers, right?
I was going to say, on top of the Blood Artist triggers, like, imagine you are doing your stuff. You have your, like, you know,
things are
whatever's
going to
on.
plan.
You have even one Blood Artist. You just swing out with a bunch of creatures. If they're at even, like, 14 life, like, swing out with a bunch of creatures, get a couple through, you're down to 12, get a couple dice triggers, you go to 10 or 9, and then play even just 2 of these afterwards. Sweet. Both of them trigger, sack, or like cast both the spells. I don't know. It just seems like so much damage out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That like you can just, in the late game, you could just win.
And that's the other thing these decks, in my experience, have been lacking, is they lack 2 things. They lack like sort of mid-game card draw. You're a little beholden to just like what's on the top of your library. Do you draw your good cards or not? Like you have some velocity, but for the most part, it's like, hey, if 3 of my Blood Artists were in the bottom 20 cards of my deck, I'm just fucked.
Yeah.
Still going to be true, but this lets you dig at least a little bit. But it also it's missing reach. Like a lot of the time you get your opponent to like 8, and then you're like, I could sort of flurry and sack my whole board and do like 4 or 5, but then I lose. So like I can't do the 8. And so this actually might just be, it's kind of
exactly
the 2 things the deck needs. It's like that mid-game velocity and the reach at the end of the game to just be like, hey, take an extra 3 on top of the like however much I was planning on doing.
Yeah. I also just want to say the designers are just smoking something, because we have so many Sign in Blood type effects.
I know.
We had
just
3 in this
Sign in
set.
Blood, yeah.
They're just like, you know what, Sign in Blood rocks, and we should bring it back, but not like actually bring it back. It's like we have a whatever common, rare, mythic in this set that do Sign in Blood. We have a mythic in this set that's obviously not Sign in Blood, but like very similar effect. I know, it's just wild to me.
Hey, I love Sign in Blood. If you've ever cast Sign in Blood to like win the game by targeting your opponent, the feeling is just so good. That's why I think it's such a great Magic card design, because it's a very simple card. It's very balanced, like, but still powerful. Draw 2 for 2 is strong, but you got
It's
2
true.
life is non-trivial. And then those like, you know, few percent of the time when you target your opponent with it, and you just get that like, genius.
Yeah, it's also like Sign in Blood or just cards like that. I know we talk a lot about templating for beginners so that they don't make mistakes, so that they know what's going on. But there is a very important balance between that, because, like we've said in the past, like, players are only beginners for a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And then they just become players. And the thing that I realized, I think I talked about this on the show previously, but like, we always say the best way to start playing Magic is on Arena, because it teaches you how to do all this stuff or whatever. And most players, it feels like, are coming in because of Commander and are very Commander-focused players. But they're not very seasoned, and they don't get to learn a lot of the ins and outs of how interactions work, because Commander's very large. There's a bunch of different things going on, and it's hard to get heuristics in Commander because there's like the board states are bizarre and crazy, and like there's a million mechanics and you don't know everything. But what I didn't realize is that the thing the Commander does bring to the table is the wonder and the excitement of all the different cards that you can use and all the different pieces.
Yeah.
So like, oh, that's what you could do with these cards? And then people get really excited and more invested in the game. And one of those things is changing you draw cards to target player draws cards. Is a, why would I want my opponent to draw cards thing? And all you need is that little thing in a player's mind to be like, oh, I could build a whole thing and then I could use this at the end and that's how I kill them. And that you just kind of all the, gears start turning, and that makes new players really engaged and excited for the game, as opposed to, oh, well, new players are too dumb because they don't know how the game works, so we have to hold their hand, like.
And that's something I know I've talked about on the show before. Is like, they're beginners, they're not idiots, and I feel like Magic was over-indexing on that for a long time. Like, oh, they just won't get it, and it's like,
they don't
yes,
understand.
They will. Anyone who, like, the type of person who is going to be interested in playing Magic the Gathering will be able to handle this, like, tiny little,
distinction.
I feel like there was a period of Magic design, and you would see it even in Morrow's articles and stuff, and like in his journey, but it was just like, you are really over-indexing on like the hand-holding for new players. And I know it probably comes from some sort of like,
Corporate
it comes
thing.
from the top. It's like, it's all it's all about growth and getting new customers and new customers.
But those are also players, like those are people who don't play the game, right?
Right. Like, those are the churners.
They're like, well, I don't
buy
even
a
understand how
set
this
and
game works.
don't
It's
play
like,
it.
yeah, because you're not a gamer. You're just
Right. It's not
you're just
your cup of tea. Like, what makes Magic cool is exactly what you talked about. Like, oh, yeah, sure, this card seems like it does this, but every once in a while, there's this other way to use it. And that's what attracted me to the game. Probably most people who play this game had that epiphany of like, whoa, this card seems to do one thing, but it could do this also really completely different thing if you pair it with different cards.
And the excitement of the game is that even the designers didn't know that it was going to do this with these different cards, because I was able to figure it out.
I figured it out, yeah. I paired it with this other card that was designed a couple of years ago.
For something else. And and so there's no, and they're from different formats, so there's no way that they would have even tested
it. They didn't
together.
spoon feed this to me. And I know that's also a big complaint coming to Commanders, like they're spoon feeding how to do it.
Yeah.
And also, what is the concern of Sign in Blood? That a new player is going to think losing 3 life is worse than drawing 3 cards and therefore target their opponent with it or whatever.
I can
You know what?
say
They can only learn that lesson one. They only have to do that one time.
Yes. I was just going to say, I have had a new player do that to me, and all you have to say is, you target me?
Right.
Ah, sweet. And
Right.
then
You just have to,
all you have
Thank
to say
you.
is that.
Yeah.
And then they start to realize, oh, maybe cards are more important than the life that I thought. I thought that 2 life
and
was
they're
way
going to run out of cards because they just spent a card just to basically shock your face and give you 2.
And give you
you're
2
going to be sitting there with a midfold. They're going to very quickly realize that you are able to cast, like, to impact the board so much, and all they did was bring you from 20 to 18. Right?
Exactly. And they just have to do that one time to realize, oh, I shouldn't do that. That's a bad game action. Only do that when they're at 2, And then
I actually think new players tend to, and like, we're not talking your very first game of Magic, obviously, but generally newer players, less experienced, tend to over-index on card draw. They think it's better than it is because it's an easier form of card advantage to understand than some of the other forms of card advantage that exist in the game, right? So
coming from a player who was building some bullshit deck when I was a kid, and I had like 4 copies of Peak because it said draw a card on it.
Yeah.
It
Gotta
also
be
lets
good.
you look at your opponent's hand.
Yeah.
And so
Hey,
graciously,
Gitaxian Probe had to get banned, so you were
but
onto
that was
something.
free. That was free. But no, luckily my opponent who was playing Battle of Wits did sit me down afterwards and was like, "All right, so you shouldn't be playing this card."
Do you have a reason to have Peak in your
Yeah, why are you doing this? I was like, well,
Are you
I'm
playing
just trying
Is
to...
It Prowess? Oh, then yeah, it's
Oh.
right.
It's like, you don't really have you're just drawing air, but it feels good to spend 1 mana to draw a card and say, I drew a card that says draw a card. Drawing a card is good. I'm doing a good thing. And then you just keep doing it.
Right.
But you're also like, I don't know, 12 or something.
Yeah, and it's that thing that's like, oh, I got to look at their hand, and I didn't waste a card to do that or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, but you did spend a mana, and was that worth 1 mana?
And your
Usually
turn
no.
or whatever. Yeah, usually. So anyway, yeah, Bloodline Collector.
Solid
Or-
tangent into all because of Sign in Blood.
Yes.
But I love Bloodline Recollector. This is the card I'm most excited about, so can't wait.
Yeah, for some reason, Bloodline Recollector sounds kind of like you kill the creatures and then they come back somehow, and then you kill them again.
Yeah, and then you're
But
like,
it doesn't-
I'm gonna take out your entire family again.
The second when they all got raised from the dead, I'm gonna do it again.
Whereas this
Which
feels a
sounds
little
like-
more like I'm just remembering the
Yeah.
past.
Oh, yeah. But it also kind of seems like they're the only one that can remember, and then other people can't.
And drawing cards and recollection, they kind of go
That's true. That's true. That does make sense.
like a bunch of things die,
Mm-hmm.
and then she draws some cards because she's recollecting
That's true. Okay. Yeah. Sure.
that bloodline. So the flavor is the
Yeah.
whole bloodline gets wiped out.
Right. Right.
And then
Of
she
course,
gains
because the
some sort of
creatures.
knowledge from that.
Right. The creatures died. She remembers that they died. She gets more powerful. Gotcha. Okay. It should also add in the clause in here if 3 creatures of the same creature type died.
Yeah. Then you
That
win
would be there's some bullshit that they would pull. Like you only get to do.
That would have been original Strixhaven, you know?
Yeah.
You'd be like, flip this over if that happens. And then that also has a prepared mechanic, but it's completely different.
Yeah, that's for a different deck. You know, that's like also different colors. God.
It's blue.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, Jeff, I think we got to call it an episode. It's been a long one. It's been a great one, but let's call it a show. We're gonna go to last call. Oh, actually, sorry. Before I do that, Jeff, do you have any last thoughts before we go to last call?
No, just super, awesome Pro Tour and super excited for some of the stuff that's coming up, but especially Reality Fracture, because
Yeah.
I'm just
I would
like, they did the right thing with this, like, Chandra Torch of Defiance to show me that, because now I'm, like, wondering what all the other ones are.
Like, what one are you bringing? Also, very quickly, I did want to mention the little watermark on Chandra Chill of Compliance is the same watermark that we had on Ral earlier, right? And we had brought that up in an episode. Nobody knows we brought it up, but we did. You heard it here first. The watermark means that they're the shifted version.
Yep. I think you sniped that.
I did. Anyway, let's go to last call. So as always, we rate our beers on a scale from bronze to mythic, just like the tiers in Arena. However, this has nothing to do with what tier you are in currently, because everyone's in different tiers at different times. So don't feel bad when we say that bronze beers, they're trash. They're horrible. You spit them on the ground, you hate them. Ugh. Can't even drink them.
Silver beers are bad or just kind of boring, like run of the mill.
Gold beers are fine, but you wouldn't really drink it again.
Platinum, totally solid. You would drink it again.
Diamond beers are exceptional. You like these a lot. You show them off to your friends.
Mythic, these are the best of the best. These are the Nathan Stoyers of the beer world.
Jeff, what do we think about these beers? Let's start with By the Pool. By the pool.
I did not enjoy this.
Yeah.
To me, it kind of tasted like... I mean, shandy's kind of strong, but it did have a little bit of that, like...
Interesting.
like the natural wit kind of thing going on where it's a little citrusy. So shandy is the wrong word, but to me,
Yeah.
I was going to say it tasted like a shandy that someone opened and then just left in their fridge for too long and then like poured it for me. And it's like,
Yeah.
why is it like flat and a little citrusy and not really tasting like beer? That's what I felt about that.
Yeah. Interesting. I didn't necessarily get that, but I also didn't love it. And it did not give me By the Pool vibes whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't want to drink this by the pool.
No.
Maybe it was like left out by the pool. And,
That's, yes.
and then
Maybe you
someone
found
poured it
this
in my cup.
at the bottom of the pool, in fact.
Yeah, maybe I found it somewhere.
And you drink it. No, it's not nearly that bad, but definitely like a...
I'm gonna give this silver. It's not bronze. It didn't have.
It's definitely not
nothing.
bronze.
There was a bit of like I could be like, okay, maybe it's kind of refreshing, but I wouldn't feel right giving it gold.
Wow. I was going to give it gold because I was just like wasn't really going to drink it again, but wow.
It was bad.
I'm going to give it gold, but I think you're harsher on this brewery than I am.
I'm not convinced they know how to make beer.
Well, then let's. I guess you're going to tell me, Isabella. What do you think about this one?
This was okay, actually. Like, yeah, I haven't liked pretty much anything that they've made, but this one was fine. Thought it was unexciting, but like, their crowning
agree that-
achievement.
Yeah, I do agree that this is like I really liked their smoothie sour, but yes, I agree that this is probably one of the better ones. But also, this still feels gold.
It's
like,
gold, I think. Yeah.
Like this feels like higher gold, like you're fighting for platinum, while the By the
This
Pool,
is the
it's-
classic. Like, there are so many really good examples of this style that there's just no way I'm ever going to get this again.
Yes,
But I didn't.
and
I didn't dislike it. You know what I mean? Like, it was.
but if this was the only beer I drank from them, like if this is their flagship IPA, and that's the only one I had, I wouldn't even be able to tell you what brewery that was.
Exactly.
like-
yeah.
Because if it was really bad, I would remember to stay away, right? But if it's mediocre, I will have no idea.
It's right. Yeah, it's right in that middle zone where you're like,
Yeah. So, yeah, they both feel kind of gold to me. That's like,
that was part of my silver rating on the first one too. Is like I definitely liked
Yeah.
the second one better.
yes, yeah. I agree. So, bummer, man. Bandit really did not come out for us. It just did not work. Brutal.
It's a high bar,
Yeah.
man. Like, there's so many
It is.
really great breweries in Toronto. So
Yeah. So it's hard when you're just like, well, this just was not juicy
I feel
enough,
like,
or it
yeah,
didn't have.
for the same price in the same area, I could just get something exceptional. You know.
And the cans are small. Cans are small.
Yeah.
How am I supposed to drink this if it's small?
That's the real reason, man. I hate it.
Yeah, I mean, that,
God,
it
the
does.
beer was terrific, but it was small cans.
I do have to say, all the marketing is great. So,
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I really like their aesthetic, and I wanted to like it.
Yeah.
I just didn't like.
yeah. Which is,
I didn't
Saying a
feel
lot,
a strong
'cause-
connection to any of the beers that I tried from them.
yes. I would send people back for the sour smoothie one, but that would be the only one I'd probably recommend. I'd be like, do you like smoothie sours? And they're like, Sure. I'd be like, they go there. But otherwise, go anywhere else. Sorry, not anywhere else. I do have a list of places you should go.
That might be a little harsh. But.
Yeah. But yeah, woof. Anyway. Dang. I brought those. I feel bad. Oh, well. It is what it is.
Oh, no.
You never
Negative
know.
data points are still data points, my friend.
It's true. Honestly, then I'll never have to worry. Except for all the ones I haven't tried yet. Then I still kind of want to try them. So maybe Bandit isn't lost on us. Maybe we're just continuing to search for the one that we like.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, people improve at stuff, too. So
That's true. Yeah, it could take some time.
maybe we'll try Bandit in 2 years, and it'll be dope.
Or it could be even worse. You never know.
Maybe
We'll have
Jace will reimagine Bandit, and it will make every beer the opposite of the beer that they brewed.
What is he going to call it? Bandit? It's going to be like Robber. No, it'll just be like...
No, it has to use the same, like, last 3.
Yeah. It's talking about Bandit Brewery, but he realizes the best thing about it is the branding, so it's called Brandit.
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me.
Sounds like a Jace thing to do.
Go into marketing.
Yeah. Jace is just the energy vampire in your marketing department. Anyway, let's go to closing time, Jeff. Let's wrap it up. It's time to get out of here. As always, you can reach us at Arena Regulars on Instagram and Blue Sky.
You may also find us on Arena itself, username Arena Regulars Podcast.
You can talk to me personally at @theregular_Zach. I'm on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and blah, 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 blah. But Jeff, where can they find you?
Best place is our Discord channel if you want to come participate in our Pro Tour Fantasy Draft and kick my butt, because I didn't do so well this last time. Then come on down. You can also talk about Limited. We love to hear bad beats. We love to cheer you on for your epic victories. And, every once in a while, someone will post a really complicated sealed pool, and everyone just kind of jumps in. It's like, here's what I would build. Here's what I would build. Here's what I would build. Those are some of my favorites, because everyone comes up with something different.
Yeah.
And that's some of the best discussions. But, yeah, it's all there. And even if you just want to come in and say hi, chat about something completely random, open to that, too. Tell us your favorite brewery. And if it's Bandit... tell us which one we should try next time.
If it's Bandit, tell us why.
Yeah. Don't be surprised when we go, really? They're like, you tried the only 4 bad beers by Bandit.
Yeah.
Link is in the show notes. Come join our Discord channel.
If you like the podcast, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts, follow us on Spotify. Leave us a review there as well. Leave us a comment on all the different places you can leave comments. We really appreciate them, and we want to know what you have to say about the show. This has been the Arena Regulars.
Reminding you that you can forget about gruel. It's called Constrari now.
Good night.
Definitely catch on.
That's so terrible, yeah. All right, that's fine.